Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for joining us here today on Lions Talk Live. Here it is, Thursday, the day before Thanksgiving. I get the holidays are starting to kick up and in. I know yesterday for work, we even had our pseudo Thanksgiving Day party. So, hey, it's that time of year. Everybody's getting ready for a little time with family, friends, and hey, maybe just a little bit of football too. If you're new to Lions Talk Live, please consider subscribing. We're making a push before Sunday's game to get to 4,300. And man, if you could help make that happen, I sure would be thankful. Also, don't be afraid to hit that like button. Helps out with all the YouTube jazz that kicks the content out to other people. Before we get into the actual main content of today's Dollar General themed Brad Holmes ceremony video, I do need to let you guys know that outside of being a YouTuber and a coach, I'm also a realtor and have been for over 30 years. If you're looking to buy or sell property in the great state of Michigan, or if you just have questions about real estate and you live in other states, don't be afraid to give me a call, 269-998-2384. So with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and see what's going on in the old comment section below. So I will go ahead and pull it up here. All right, let's see what we got here. Lions fan, hey, happy birthday, Coach. Thanks for that. Greetings and salutations, everybody. And thanks, and the same to you. Appreciate that. Appreciate it, man. Bergs, good morning, Lions faithful, and good morning, Dan. Brad Holmes still working his magic, adding another depth piece yesterday. Yeah, and I think, Bergs, like we talked about, you and I, we talked about off air yesterday. He's not settling for where the team's at. He's looking to add pieces wherever he can, to add depth, etc. I'm pretty sure that everybody appreciates what Brad Holmes is doing. And let's also be fair. It also means he's adding these parts without any cost. We all wanted them to go out and get some premier pass rusher or something at the trade deadline. That didn't happen. And we can all debate the reasons why or whatever. I'm a firm believer, and if you watch this show for any length of time, you've probably heard me say this several times. I do believe the Lions were trying to get Montez Sweat. I do believe also they weren't willing to go up to a first-round pick to acquire him. So, hey, give Brad Holmes credit. If none of these additions pan out, then it really costs them nothing. None of these contracts are going to be guaranteed that they're giving out. So you're taking a chance that somebody does work out. And if they do, that helps the team. All right, Drake, what do you got? Morning, all. Enjoy your birthday, Coach Dan. What number is this one? 51. I turned 51 today. So any thoughts on the newly signed players? Irvin's probably the biggest name all of us are going to recognize. The other one's a long snapper, and the last person they added was just depth in the cornerback position or secondary. Irvin has got the potential to do something, but if you guys watched yesterday's show, we did talk about, hey, this is probably going to be on a limited snap count. I get he started a bunch of games a year ago. I don't really foresee that happening unless he supersedes expectations, but maybe he does, man. Maybe he does. Irvin does have the ability, though, to hit a huge need for us. We all get it. Opposite side of the defensive line hasn't been stellar at getting pressure on the quarterback and getting sacks. So perhaps Irvin can achieve that. Robert, what do we got? Greetings and salutations. One and all from, Osceola, Florida. Let's get this right. Sunday, Lions. Ooh, wow. 45-13. That would be a beatdown. Let's go Lions. And, man, doing that going into Thanksgiving against the Packers, yeah, I think we'd all take that. So I hope you're right, Robert, man. Mile Marker, happy birthday, Dan. Good day off. Thanks. Same to you. Hope you're having a good one, Mile. Trey, happy birthday. Brad ain't sleeping, building up some depth. Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of this is about. The offensive line, the guy they acquired, he can play long snapper, plus he's played multiple positions across the offensive line. So he serves a multitude of needs or potential possibilities for this team. So that's really big that they went ahead and got someone like that, with Daly being out for the foreseeable future at long snapper. All right, AJ, what do you got? Enjoy the day, Coach. Have a great birthday. Thank you for that. Thoughts on Fields playing this week? There's a couple different things. So if I'm Chicago, let's let's identify the negatives of Justin Fields playing, and that he hasn't played in, whatever, it's been a month and a half or so. So he's going to be a little rusty. Now, what he can do with that thumb, it sounds like before their last game, which was on a Thursday night, he was pretty close to playing. So he's going to probably have a little bit of rust, but those legs are going to be fresh. He's going to be fresh. I think from a Detroit Lions standpoint, the biggest negative is that you now have to account for that quarterback position getting out and running. Obviously, that's something Justin Fields is fully capable of doing. The other thing I would say from a Detroit Lions standpoint is this guy does, while he may not throw every pass in the route tree the greatest, the one pass I think he is very good at is up the sidelines, deep routes. So fly patterns, streak patterns, etc., things of that sort. He can hit that fairly well. So he hits two big components into something we struggle with, this year and last year as far as defending a mobile quarterback and one that can throw it long. So it'll be interesting to see what Eric Glenn and the defense comes up with to try to augment and slow that down and keep him in check. All right, Tori Apple, what do you got? Love the thumbnail. Happy birthday. Thank you for that. Does Chicago have a chance this week? Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Every team in the NFL, regardless of your record, has a chance. We sometimes lose focus on that. Some people I know kind of discredit the Chargers win. And I thought that was really not fair. When you look at, their record coming in, don't hold me to this. I want to say they were 5-5. That's really only a couple wins different than the Detroit Lions. So in the NFL, especially just because there's not a ton of games like the NBA or Major League Baseball, 1 or 2 wins can really impact, especially at this point in the season, somebody's perceived strength of the team. Brent, what do you got? Happy birthday, coach. Thank you. How many rushing yards do you think we hold Fields to? Hopefully under 70. And I'm really hoping it's more like under 40. But I think so. The other dangerous part about Chicago is the fact that Justin Fields probably is aware that he's got whatever it is, 7-8 games remaining this season to go out and prove to that front office and maybe even the rest of the league he's a viable NFL quarterback. He's got to go out there and prove to them, Chicago, that that number 1 and 4 pick or whatever they're going to end up having, they're going to have 2 very high first-round picks, that those need to be spent on acquiring talent around him and the team, not to replace him. So I think for Detroit, you're going to get a guy who's going to play, I'm assuming, every snap like it could potentially be his last. He's going to come out and give it his all because he knows he's fighting for his career. To me, that's a dangerous dude, Brett. So, Spencer, greetings and salutations all. Same to you. Mike, does Irvin help the rush this week? Hell, does he does he start? I don't think he's going to play this week. Maybe I'm way off base by saying that. My guess is with him having not been on the field in a while, it's going to take a little bit of time for him to get into, I guess you would call it football readiness or shape or whatever. And that just means he's got to get out there on the practice field, get banged around, get the body used and acclimated to that kind of physical contact on a sustained level of time. When your body isn't used to it, one of the big worries I have for teams that come out of, say, the bye week is you go, 5, 6, 7, 10 days without physical contact like you do in football, the body starts forgetting about it. So now every hit starts feeling a whole lot more impactful on your body. It starts hurting a little bit more, where if you do it daily, your body just grows numb to it. So it's a great question, but I'm going to guess maybe against the Packers on Thanksgiving is when I would anticipate him being ready. Hope I'm wrong. Hope he's ready to go this week, though. All right, Franz, what do you got? Good morning, all. Is this the game J-Mo breaks out? So let's just look at the Chargers game. I think that was probably his best game overall this season. I won't say for his Lions career or whatever, because I'm not going to lie and say I remember every game last year. But I'm going to say this. I think he is trending the right direction. There's going to come a point, whether it's this game, the following game against Green Bay, he's going to break out, have a big game. The trend is your friend, I like to say. And I'm going to say this. He played a real good game, in my opinion, against the Chargers. And I just want to see him continue that. Doesn't have to be huge gains every game, just continued progress. And if he does that, I'm happy, man. Eddie, greetings and salutations. Same to you. T, what do we got? The Lions 41, Bears 24. Happy birthday. Thanks for the happy birthday. And I'll say this to you guys, man. It sounds like a lot of you guys are expecting this to be a massacre. And I'm not thinking that way. I think we'll win, but I think it's going to be more like 7 to 10 points. That's just my opinion. So, but hey, if you guys are right, we win by 30 or 40 or whatever. I'm way okay with that. Mile marker. We all know the phrase "football ready." MCDC said Irvin is not quite there. What do you think coaches are looking for? Just to see that he knows the material, the expectations on every snap or down, whatever schemes they're going to run. He's familiar with. He know the mics or whoever they're going to put the green dot on, the adjustment calls, so he knows what to do. I mean, he's going to be a little bit more ready to go just because he's a veteran. Plus, the amount of alterations they're going to ask him to probably face when he goes in probably be limited to 5 to 10 different line calls or adjustments he may have to be knowledgeable about. Other than that, I think Mile, the other stuff, like I kind of just talked about a moment ago, is just getting the body ready, for that physical contact and abuse, to where when it happens, you're not feeling it as much. You're numb to it again. Ryan, top of the mountain dew to you. Woo! That was a bad Ric Flair. But I don't want to break the mic and throw it out at anybody listening. But Ryan, thank you for that. Thank you very much. Hopefully you have a great day too, man. Ken, good morning. Danny Dew, rumor has it, birthday. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So going to hopefully enjoy it, right? Bergs, happy birthday, Dan. Dew is on me. Enjoy. Thanks for that. Thanks for that very much. Rich, what do you got? Good morning, Dew crew. Yeah, same to you, Rich. Hopefully you have a great one. Donkey Kong, man, where you been, man? It seems like were you here yesterday? I think Phil had to jump in and say Super Bowl or bust for you, man. But anyways, it's not a show without you. A hand pink waving. All right, there you go. Thank you, Dr. D. Hey, Bergs, thanks for that. I will enjoy a Dew and a hot dog on you. Thanks for that, buddy. Thank you very much. Happy birthday. Thank you. Thank you for that, Donkey Kong. Mike, what do you got? What about Sue? The problem I think we faced was Sue, Mike, and maybe I'm wrong because I don't watch them every day or anything, but the Lions stopped the run very well. They're still one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the league at shutting down the run. Their problem, they're getting pressures on quarterbacks. They're not getting to the quarterback and finishing the plays. And it just at this point in his career, and from what I've seen of Sue the last 3 or 4 years or so, he's kind of lost some of that ability to get to the quarterback, at least on a consistent basis. So is he going to be an upgrade over what we have? I guess we'd have to leave that to the Lions brass to ascertain that. But my guess is, they don't see him as an improvement over what they currently have. Maybe I'm wrong, though. Maybe I'm wrong. Dr. D, looking at the AARP Center, I'm not appreciating it. I would have appreciated it 2 weeks ago. Okay. Well, okay. I don't know if you're making a comment about my birthday or if you're saying about the Lions signings. Let me know, Dr. D. Ryan, what do you got? Jonah Jackson injured again. He and Big Frank the Tank are really good, but do we really resign them? Crosby is developing, drafting their linemen. Yeah, I think they're in a tough spot with at least Jonah Jackson just because, I get that high ankle sprain probably got aggravated. Maybe they're precautionary. I mean, today's a real big day for Jonah Jackson, that offensive line. If he's not out there practicing today, that's a tell. He's more than likely not playing Sunday unless they're just going to dress him for like an emergency start or status. Just my thought is, you guys have heard me talk about it before. I just don't see it as an option to re-sign him unless you're going to get rid of one of the tackles or Frank Ragnow, just because paying 4 offensive linemen that amount of money. I mean, I think we all get that the Lions value their offensive line. I just think it's a hard proposition to invest that much into one position, or at least one set of positions with the offensive line. So we'll see. Let's all pay attention to around 4 o'clock today when the injury reports and practice reports come out. That will be a tell whether or not he's playing. But my guess is he just aggravated it. I wouldn't think he fully injured it again, but you never know, man. All right, Dr. D, happy 51st, man. Thank you for that, Dr. D. Thank you very, very much for that. Dr. D, or excuse me, Detroit D, this Bears game makes me nervous. Me too, a little bit, D, just because, again, Justin Fields hits a lot of our weaknesses. Their defense, I think they've improved without question. Montez Sweat will definitely help them. I just believe, and maybe I'll end up being proven wrong, that our offense is powerful enough where we should be able to score some points on them. I think the real crux of the game is going to come down to, can you contain Justin Fields and then not give up his primary routes that he's good at throwing? And I do think, up the seams of the sidelines, he's pretty good at that, and that's an area we have struggled with. So we'll find out what happens, but that's why I'm not saying I don't think, D, that we're going to win by 20 or 30. If we do great, I'll be the first to celebrate it. I do think we're going to be somewhere in the 7 to 10 range. All right. Ryan, sorry, I missed yours, man. Happy birthday. I'll be celebrating your birthday at a concert tonight. Cheers. What concert you going to, Ryan? And hopefully you enjoy it, man. Hopefully you have a great time out there. All right, Brent, good morning, Duke crew. Do we rush for another 200 yards Sunday? Also thinking Donovan Peoples-Jones gets a red zone TD. Hey, that's – so how many rushing yards? I think – we do have the potential to get up there around that number. Just looking at the Bears. Now, the Bears do have some pretty good linebackers. They've also got a lot of injuries across their entire team, especially their defense. I think a lot of it's going to come down to run blocking. And if we do, I'll go ahead and say this, Brent. I'll take 150 to 200. So I'm in the same ballpark as you. Donovan Peoples-Jones, I'll take that. He gets a touchdown. Hey, man, especially Ford Field, his first game. The Lions faithful are going to be jumping up and down cheering. TAFKA day. I'm wondering if Brian Branch is still dealing with the lingering effects of his injuries against Green Bay. He was impressive before the injury, but it hasn't been nearly as good since. I think a lot of that day is just he's not getting targeted as much. Now, he's not making those plays, but I also think he's in the vicinity of a lot of it. I think the opponents of Detroit have gone to other spots other than him for targeting. I guess, maybe after Thanksgiving, when I get that weekend, maybe I'll do a little bit deeper dive looking at it, see if there's something missing. But that's at least my initial anticipation, is that they're just going other places. Which, hey, I'll say this about DBs. When you don't hear their names, means they're probably doing a pretty good job, just because they're not getting picked on. All right, Dr. D, Ocala, Florida. Okay. All right, Tom Bird, Dr. Burr. There we go. Greetings and salutations. Happy birthday, Coach. 21 looks good on you. Yeah, I wish, man. That was a long time ago, brother. James, what do you got? Good morning, Coach. Happy Thursday. Looking forward to going 2-0 in the next 2 games, then an extended break. Yeah, that's the nice part. You come off the bye. Yeah, you're going to get a bunch of games in a compressed time frame, but then you get another mini bye. And, hey, I'll take all those we can get, man. When we go 2-0 against Chicago and then Green Bay, man, I'll have to do some research to find out the last time we were 9-2, because my thought is it ain't been recent. James, what do you got? Happy birthday. Thanks, man. Thanks you very much. Brother Ken, I did see on Facebook you sent one, and I didn't have an opportunity before the show to respond, but thanks for that, and thanks for it down here too. Hopefully you're having a good one, even though I know it's real early for you. James, happy birthday, Coach. Go Lions. Thanks for that, man. Dr. Don, fans in Chicago has ripped Fields every year for holding the ball too long. Fields is going to try to get the ball out quick and make a ton of mistakes. We will capitalize. Tracy Walker, catch the ball. Yeah, my only knock on Tracy Walker, man, is that the dude's always in the vicinity of making plays. He just doesn't finalize the play. And if he could do that in this last stretch and going into the playoffs, I think good for him, man, because he's probably elevating his chances to either remain here or sign somewhere else if the Lions were to re-sign like C.J. Gardner-Johnson over him. I'm not going to worry about that right now, but I will say this, Don. You're right. He does pat the ball a lot. He does the old 1, 2, 3 pat before he throws quite often. But when he sees those deeper routes, which I think he maybe just because they threw so many of those during his run as the quarterback at Ohio State that it maybe just ingrained into him. I'm going to guess that Aaron Glenn, he'll do the cone formation, but I'm hoping he does mix in some blitzes. And unlike last year when he faced Chicago, where we mostly played man-to-man, and that did aid in Justin Fields getting out and running, this year we're playing mostly zone versus man, like I said last year. And with that zone, it should be harder for Fields to run. The one issue will be if he breaks containment against the cone or the funnel, whatever you want to say, and he gets out wide. Unlike last week, that zone has got to lock up guys that are improvising routes downfield. We didn't do a great job, in my opinion, at all against Justin Herbert about that. Justin Herbert made us pay and pay a lot. So we'll see. It's going to be a cat and mouse game, but I'm with you, Don. I think you need to get after him and get some picks, get some hits on him as well. And that's something we haven't done a whole lot in recent weeks. All right, Michael, what do you got? Howdy, Dan. In Lions Faithful, good morning to you, too. Hope you have a great one. Dash, good Thursday morning, folks. Good morning to you and good Thursday to you. Dash has got a score prediction of 31-7. I take that. Man, a lot of you guys do think we're just going to crush them. And, again, I hope we do, man, because, hey, that just means most of the second half you're just kicking back and just cheering and relaxing. Don, what we got? We will win, but Bears have players Detroit fans are getting out if with these ridiculous scores. All right, Don, what's your score? Come on, give me your honest score opinion. Let me know. MJ, what do you got? Good morning, Coach. Good morning to you, too. Mr. Ed, happy birthday, Coach. Thank you. I hope you get a chance to enjoy the special day with family and friends. Yeah, the GF is over in Detroit right now, and she's on her way back here, and then we're going to hang on out. I think my mom's even taking me out to birthday lunch. All right, Brother Ken, at least JMO is contributing with his devastating downfield blocking and his football IQ. He is, and I know you and I talked about that last week. His run blocking, I don't think anybody can question that part. And he had, 2 targets last week, no drops, and 2 completions. He did have the other completion, the touchdown waved off, but hey, I'm just saying my opinion. I think he is improving, and he is showing that in college, I get he wasn't taught, in my view, a whole lot, but he's clearly learning it this year, and then a little bit last year. He's developing. All right, Dr. D, 34-21 Detroit. Boom, I'll book it. I'm going to hold you to it, man. I'm going to go over to the casino and put 50 cents down on your score prediction. That's right. I have a 50-cent limit when I gamble. Michael Jordan, happy birthday. Thank you for that. Thank you for that very much. I smoke you some. Sagittarius, you are. Happy beat day, Coach. Yep. And thank you for that. Happy birthday. I'm going to enjoy today for sure. Thank you. Smoke you some. Let's see. Bergs, Lions will win, but it's going to be closer than people think. Yeah. Like I said, I think 7 to 10 points. I'm hoping. So Dr. D clarifies his earlier statement. The line signings, yes, not my AARP card. Thank you for letting me know. I stopped acknowledging my birthdays at 40, but I hope you have a great one, Dan. Thank you. Thanks for that, man. Yeah, I'm going to give it a go. I think I'm going to have a pretty good one, unless something unforeseen happens. Michael Jordan, what do you think about that kid from the Bears we got? He may be gone, man, cornerback. So if you're talking about the Bears corner, MJ, I think they've won this week. I think we can target their corners. 2, they do have one in free agency that will be a free agent, I should say, at the end of the year that I wouldn't mind us taking a look at and potentially signing. Dr. D, I would invest in O-line and D-line all day. Yeah, me too. And I think we're going to have to in this upcoming draft. Some of the guys we've drafted are nice, especially on the defensive line. They're just not making enough plays to be impactful. As far as the offensive line, we talked about earlier, I think Jonah Jackson's probably on the way out. I just don't think you're going to be able to re-sign him. And maybe even Frank Ragnow. Who knows? We'll see. Obviously, Big V, I'd say at this point, we can all say without saying, his time in Detroit has probably come to a close. All right, Brother Ken, we've got to tighten up our red zone percentages, then to continue eliminating turnovers and stupid penalties. Yes, all of that would help a whole lot. All right, Fletch lives. Our offense is too good for Chicago. I think there's a lot of truth to that, and especially since Chicago, in fairness to them, they're real beat up, especially on the defensive side. So we'll see what shakes out, but I'm thinking we're going to be able to score some points. We're just going to have to also stop Chicago from scoring. And right now, Lions D is going to have to prove it to me that they can do that. Bears secondary, Bears secondary isn't good. The air attack should be potent this game. Yeah, I would think so. And I think, man, a lot of it's going to come down to, I think, the offensive line. If Ben Johnson, clearly last game, he felt he could leave Goff out there on a pass patterns that develop for 2 to 4 seconds. It's going to come down to whether he feels he can then do the same thing this week. Because one thing the Lions have done a decent job of with their offensive line when guys were out is they limited things to quicker routes, a lot of easier runs, because they know the people blocking in the middle of the field just aren't capable of realistically holding up for more than a 2-second snap count before the ball's got to come out. So we'll see. But I do believe that if we're overall healthy on the offensive line, yeah, we can put up some real numbers this week. All right, Dr. D, Justin will extend plays with his legs, so don't expect a high-scoring game, I am thinking. All right, we'll go with that. And I don't think you're wrong either. I think they're going to have to do something to limit him, or that Chicago dormant offense might not be so dormant. All right, manifest my destiny. Haven't seen you in a couple days, man. Good to see you back. Hey, Dan, I hope you and your family are doing well. What's your thoughts on the Bruce Irving signing? What do you think he brings besides pass rush skills? Leadership. And, some people are going to say, why did you sign this guy? I know in his limited time with Seattle last year, in the other spots too, he's a leader. He is a locker room presence. He's somebody that commands people to be accountable. So from a personality standpoint, let all that sink in for a second. Does that sound like a MCDC, Aaron Glenn, Brad Holmes type of personality? To me, it does. Now you add in the fact, he's longer, as far as wingspan. He's a little bit taller. He's a veteran who knows how to get things done and how to prepare for playoff games, something we don't have a lot of on this team. Goff's been there, and there are some people, but there's not a ton of them. So to me, he fits a lot of reasons why you would sign him because of his personality and what he meets as far as his skill sets. So on the field, and manifest, great question, but that would be my thoughts, is that he's more or less an MCDC type of personality. All right, Aaron, what do you got? Michigan man from Melbourne, Australia, at the moment sitting in a bar in Indonesia. Will Holmes go DE or DT in next year's draft? I think it's going to be whoever the best one available is to them. I know there's some dude, I don't remember his name because I haven't really focused on the draft yet. But there's a kid down in Florida who's like 430 pounds, and he can motor. I don't know about his pass rush skills or anything else. I don't know if he can split a center and a guard combination. But if he can do any of that, and he can stop the run while having athleticism, boy, he might be something to look for. Dr. Detroit, they don't want Branch Smoke. Yep. And I think Branch, I'll have to do a deeper dive on it. I think he's playing very well, and I just don't think he's getting targeted. But I'll look at it over the weekend on Thanksgiving. I was saying, my happy birthday. Just had my 58th last week. Happy birthday, or belated birthday, and thanks for that, man. Matthew Perry, Bruce Irvin's addition may not be an on the field contribution, more of an insurance policy and guide for getting more sacks from the existing players. Yeah, for the existing players. Yeah, I think he's going to be very much a leader, someone who can kind of demonstrate some things to people, add some wisdom, knowledge, while maintaining a locker room presence and helping steer the team in a particular direction. So I'm with you there on that. Berg's 1962 was the last time the Lions started 9-2. Long time ago. Yes, that is, man. And hey, we're due for it, right? We are due. And I just realized I made a pun there. So, all right, Dr. Detroit, 2023 is headed out to be a historic year. It is. And obviously you can lose at any time in the NFL, unlike most other leagues. Upsets are just a lot more prevalent in this league than most other professional sports. But I'll say this, the Lions got a chance here. And as long as they stay healthy, they stay focused, it'll be interesting to see what the regular season record ends up being. Slim, run the ball. Yeah, and I don't think there's any doubt about that. That we'll do that. It's just a question of how many snaps each of the main components get. I would think. Eduardo, we haven't lost a divisional game, home game in almost 2 years. To be fair, man, you're spot on. You think about last year's division record, and even the year before that, they haven't been horrible. So by any stretch of the imagination, so you're spot on with that. And we got a bunch of division games coming up. Michael Jordan, last time we were 9-2 was 1950 on one of the championships. It could be, man. Like I said, I'll do a dive in, and you guys probably have already Googled it or whatever, but I think we can all say it's been a hot minute since we've been 9-2, and not many teams. I would be interested to find out the mathematical percentages throughout the history of the NFL. How many teams reach 9-2? It can't be that many. But let's get number 8 before we worry about number 9, though, too, I would say. Coach talk. All right, mile marker. Internet says the Lions have been 9-2 4 times, 31, 53, 56, and 62. So, I mean, those were the glory years, right? And I'm sure we're all got our Lions on demand videos ready to play from back in the day so we can relive those moments. All right. Hey, thanks for this, Lincoln. Thank you very much for that. Clay VR, thank you. I will have a second Mountain Dew and a Popeyes chicken sandwich on you. Yes, I will, man, especially the spicy chicken one. I love theirs. I don't like their French fries, to be honest, but their spicy chicken sandwich, I do fully love. 100%. And thanks again for that, man. Thanks again. Very kind. Down we got Detroit 30, Chicago 19. All right. That's about where I'm thinking. About 10, 11 points, 7 points, somewhere in that range. All right. Trey, Grand Rising. Happy birthday, Dan. I have the Lions winning 31-20, not counting out the Bears. Yeah, I think that's, you've already heard me talk. I don't think this is going to be a blowout. I think win. But, guys, I hope we pick off Fields 40 times and then force him into 29 more fumbles in the first quarter. I hope we put up 100 points. I just trying to look through my eyes what I see happening, and I see about a 10-point game. So it sounds like some of us are thinking we're going to win by 100. Other of us think we're going to win by 2 or 3. Truth, man, it will all be revealed Sunday. Derwin, we got happy birthday. Big dog, love the show. Thanks for that, Derwin. I always appreciate talking with you too, man. So thanks for the birthday love. All right, Slim, what do you got? 31-10. I like your score better than I like my score. It's Derwin, it's very important that we take the Bears seriously. They aren't playing Justin Fields for no reason. Yeah, and again, like I talked about earlier, Fields has got a reason to just ball out. He's playing for his career and his position with his team in the future. And to me, that's the most dangerous player out there. Just like guys with expiring contracts, they've got a reason to leave it all on the field on every play, because for them, the potential for there not being tomorrow is real. And if he wants to stay in Chicago, especially, he's got to give the Bears absolute certainty with his performances that, hey, you don't need to drive somebody else. I'm your guy. And even if the Bears were to move on him, his agents talk to him that, hey, you got to do everything you can to put it on tape, put it on film, because if the Bears don't sign you, you need somebody else to say, that's our guy. So I'm expecting his best shot on every play. Don, scratch that. Detroit 27, Chicago, Teddy Bears 19. All right, we'll go with it. I'll scratch it to remove it from the record. Derwin, number 1 offensive line versus the number 1 rushing defense. That's another good point too. And if our line isn't fully healthy, obviously that just aids the Bears. All right, Dave, what do you got? The effect and desire to improve seems to be there with JMO. I would agree with that. So I think he's going to be good, just maybe not as soon as we all like. And that's the other part. I can tell you from coaching the 3,000 years I've been out there, not everybody improves at the same rate. Some people take a little bit more time, but it doesn't mean they don't end up getting there. It's just they might get there slower. Jameson Williams, I think he was done dirty by the college coaches. I've said my piece on that. I don't think they trained him worth of anything. They restricted him to basically just running routes that, somebody of his great athleticism was going to be good at and has been good at. But they didn't give him much as far as any kind of technical treating or or development. And so you can see when he's been asked to do a lot of things that aren't fly patterns or streak patterns, he struggles with it because he didn't know jack about it really, as far as footwork, hip placement, all the nuances of the game, how to place your foot when you come out of the break, until really last year and this year. And really, let's be honest, last year he probably got some stuff, but because he came in so late in the year, I mean, I don't think he got a ton of it even then. But this year he's definitely improved, at least in my viewpoint. All right, Michael, what do you got? Lions win 33-16. Happy birthday. I'll take it, and thank you. Don, what do you got? Darwin, I think we exposed that number one supposed to be run defense. There's some potential for that. So, and again, I get Chicago's not going to be full strength, but then again, nobody this time of the year is. It's going to be interesting. I think the chess match with Ben Johnson, what he's going to do. I thought some of his play calling last week had been a lot more assertive than what he's done at other times this year. But how much that was because the offensive line was basically healthy and ready to go. That's the part I guess we'll have to wait and see. Eduardo, what do you got? The only time Chicago saw an offensive line like ours, they gave up 150 yards rushing. So you're going to say that this means that we'll get 150 to 200 yards rushing. I like the way you're thinking, man. Robert, control the clock with Montgomery. Yeah, I think with him and Gibbs, there's going to be a lot of that. And that's going to set up some play action passing, which we all get. This is what the Lions want to do. To me, being at home, to me, the team on a bit of a hot streak, it's all set up for us to have a good game. It's just, to me, I'm just saying my thoughts. I think it's going to come down to how much we can contain Justin Fields and limit his effectiveness on our defense. We do that, I think we'll win pretty comfortably, probably more than 7 to 10 points. If we don't do that, that's where I think, Justin Fields, he's the X factor. He's the unknown quantity. What can he do to help keep his career going while helping the Bears stay relevant in the game? Don, besides Sweat, come on in and not worried about nobody else pass rush wise. And I will take Decker and Panay against anybody any day. Now, Myles Garrett may make me never. Yeah, I got you on there. Sweat, I don't even remember who they played last week on Thursday Night Football. Oh, wait, Carolina. Carolina, their line isn't horrible, but they're not great. Sweat got in there a lot. I don't think he ever got home, but he did create a lot of pressures. But he also did lead to or help assist other people getting sacks. How effective is he going to be against us? Man, I'm kind of with you, Don. I think we can limit him. But if you've got to limit him by sliding somebody else into him, which I think with Decker and Sewell, to your point, we probably don't have to do a ton of that. At the most, I think you might send a back out on a route a little delayed to give a chip and then release. But we'll see. I mean, maybe Sweat just goes off. It's hard to say what's going to happen every week, but I do think, like you're saying, we should be able to keep him fairly contained. All right, DeMar of Detroit. Hey, I'm moving up in the world. I got DeMar telling me happy birthday, and thank you for that. Thank you for what up, though. So thanks for that. Hopefully you're having a great day too, Mayor. Rob, happy birthday, Dan. And yeah, I think the urban signing is more about helping our younger guys. I agree. Leadership, and like I said, man, just somebody who can go out there who's done it all, who's probably got some locker room command respect, just help people through the process of figuring a few things out. Don, at the Mayor of Detroit, what's good? Hey, man, can you fix those roads? Shots being fired. Get these streets lights working. Yeah. Detroit's, some parts of it got a few things to work on. All right, Ryan, I believe the Lions are 7-1 in the last 8 games against division teams. I think that sounds about right, too. I agree with you. And the only loss was last year on a nail-biter against Minnesota. Question, do we own the division? I'll say this, Ryan. You could argue last year we owned it. This year, obviously, if we win out, then yes, we own it. And we might for a few years to come. Break down the teams. I think Green Bay is going to have to look for another quarterback. And the chances of that quarterback coming in right away and being impactful in year 1 and 2, I'd say historically that's fairly limited. You got to give people probably 3 to 4 years to really work out at the quarterback position. I get CJ Stroud is the exception rule, but keep in mind, he's the exception to the rule. Even the great Rodney Peete didn't come in and light up things at the Silverdome for a few years. As far as the other teams, who knows what's going to happen with Minnesota? Is Dobbs really the answer? Is he going to be able to keep being, the next version of Don Majikowski? That's a throwback for, I'm sure, a lot of people. Where he just keeps pulling things out and getting things done. Wait and see how he does throughout the whole season. But he's a heck of a story. Do they keep him or go and try to re-sign Kirk Cousins? Or do they just say, man, we need to draft somebody? And then you got the Bears. What do you do with the Bears? If Fields has a meh finish to the rest of this season, they probably are moving on from him. And right now, if I had to pick, I'd say, yeah, they're probably moving on from him. And that's also why I think he's going to be incredibly dangerous the rest of this regular season, because he's got something to prove. He's trying to save his career. So with all that being said, we went out this year. There's a real good chance we could be winning out for another year or two. After that, it just becomes, for me, hard to really say, because so much can change with the team in 1 or 2 years. Just look at Detroit. All right, Brent, Bears have less talent than us, but this is still a black and blue division game, and I think they will play us tough. I agree. I think they're going to come out swinging at us, and you're going to have to knock them out. Lions 27-17. Yeah, I like the way you're thinking. All right, Rob, I think we'll address our needs in free agency so we can take the best player available in the draft, much like last year. I think, yeah, you're pretty spot on there, Rob. I think that's what Brad Holmes likes to do. And we're going to have some cap space. There's going to be a lot of guys that are currently eating up cap space, especially on defense, that they won't be back here next year. And I won't break them all down, but I think you guys get it. Tracy Walker, the only thing I will say, he's probably the one real unknown factor on the defense, because he has not played bad this year. Not that he's ever played bad in his time in Detroit, but he has not played bad. It's just, do you want to keep him at that pay scale, or do you want to go after somebody that you think is going to be an upgrade? And then obviously you got the Aquaras. I don't anticipate them both being back, among with a couple other people. But all right, getting back to this. All right, Dave, I forget his name, but there's a guy on the 33rd Team YouTube channel that does a great job of breaking down film and explaining things in a fan-friendly way. Amara and his brother do a podcast on that channel. I'll have to check that out. I have seen some of their stuff. I probably haven't watched it a ton, but there are, I know from time to time when I'm driving around and I listen to jazz, they pop up. And I know they do a pretty good job of getting a mixture of either players, coaches, whatever. And it's interesting to me listening to a lot of them, because everybody's got different views or stances on things. And I'm just a big fan of taking a little bit of wisdom from a bunch of different type of people versus just one or two. So good thoughts on that. And I'll have to check it out more. Dr. Troy, folks, smash that like button. Yeah, if you can. If you haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing so. No idea what the thumb count is on the current video, but if you guys haven't yet hit the like button, please go ahead and do so. Sure thing, Don. All right, boom. There we go. Mile marker. LOL history dates. Ask AI or Al. All right. I'll check out that. Rob, if we can get that number 1 seed, it would go a long way for the playoffs. Yeah, I 100% agree. Just because, I don't know the whole math behind or percentages for each of the seeds, what their chances are to making the Super Bowl. But I know if you get the number 1 seed, you're roughly 51% historically make the Super Bowl. And 51 is probably obviously as good as you can get. The number 8 seed probably doesn't get there very often. 2 or 3 exponentially go down from 1. But here's what we do know. You get the number 1 seed, you get a week off, rest people up. Also, you can't lose that week. That's a huge one. Whoever plays the week before you, everybody's got a 50-50 chance. You're either going to be playing or you're not the following week. Those injuries build up. The only downside, in my opinion, to the bye is we talk about football readiness or teams when they come out of the bye week. Historically, it's almost 50-50 if they win or lose. There doesn't seem to be a huge advantage. While your body may get healthier, some of your body's getting used to the physical contact on a timely schedule, that goes away a little bit after a few days without the contact. So now when you come back in after the bye, you got to get used to it. And I would prefer having the number 1 seed and the bye, just because I'm going to take that rest and one less game potentially could lose. So yeah, I think I'm with you, Rob, that the Lions, they've got a real chance for that thing. They need to do everything they can to play it out and try to secure it if possible. All right, MJ, Irving's knowledge is why we got him and we didn't get him for his 36-year-old blazing speed and skills. Yeah, he's going to have a little bit of juice every game. He's going to have a whole lot more juice in the locker room and on the practice field, helping to develop people. So, in a game, I'm thinking maybe 3-4 snaps a quarter, and that's about probably it from him. But if you limit it to that, then maybe the age shows up a little bit less. Lions talk with the bad guy, John Gabler. What's your favorite birthday cake? Chocolate, I guess. That sounds about right, I guess. All right, and thanks for that, John. Rob, I love a good spicy chicken sandwich. Still think Wendy's has the best. Serious? I might have to check it out then. But, I love spicy food. If you don't know that about me, I guess I just told you. So like I go different places to eat stuff. The only problem I have with spicy food is when they, you got to have flavor. You have to have a reason to want to eat it. And sometimes I get places, they just try to make it hot, but there's no taste to it. So what's the point? You're just eating it just because it's hot. Popeyes, I think, has a pretty good one. There's some other places I've run into that have had some good ones, but if you guys got thoughts on where to go, I always love going to eating spicy food, man. So just a thought. If you're ever in Kalamazoo, there's a place in downtown Kalamazoo called Cookies. There's a free shout out. When I used to coach at one particular school, the lady that runs it, she used to bring us over food and she used to make some spicy food just for me. And man, I love that jazz. She does a great job with her food. All right, James, I'm going with Lions 34-16. I could see them getting one touchdown and 3 field goals. If they do that, then I'll say this. That's going to take some heat off Aaron Glenn, at least for a week, because that would be a pretty good performance. Jennifer, good morning. One Pride. Happy birthday, Dan. Hope you're having a good one. Thanks for that. Hope you're having a great one, too. Good morning, One Pride. All right. I feel like, all right, maybe they got hit twice there, but thank you. I'll thank you a second time. How about that? Dr. Detroit, I see J Mo's improvement. He has a way to go, but I can slowly see it. Yeah, I'm with you. It's not leaps and bounds. He's not, jumping huge improvements, but he is making steady improvement. Ryan, don't gamble 50 cents on the Lions. Faculty coach, 6-game ban. Yeah, don't do it there. Yeah, I would probably get kicked out and not welcomed back. So, yeah, I'd probably, man, I don't even know where you go to bet, man. I'd have to ask you guys. All right, Ryan, Don, what do you got? This is the type of game I think a guy like C.J. Gardner-Johnson should be around in the facility and sidelines. That energy is needed. Keep these guys focused on point. Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm surprised he hasn't been around more. I get he's injured, but I also say this, man, just how I would run a team at that level. I get you're hurt. You're in for treatment or whatever, that's fine, but you're still going to hang out in practices. You're still going to hang out in the games. You're still going to be a part of the team. I don't like it when they don't do that. I mean, because otherwise that player feels ostracized. You don't feel part of the team, and you no longer connect with your teammates in quite the same way. So do you really feel like you're a part of the family? And that's just me, man. That's a pet peeve, I guess. All right, MJ, J Mo's gonna surprise us all when he breaks out of his breakout is coming. Yeah, I think you're pretty spot on. It's gonna be the right game, the right setup. He'll get a couple plays. I think we're all starting to see it more and more out of him. So just give it some time. There will be a point, I believe, this season where he's just going to put up some numbers and everybody's going to say, that's why we drafted him. And, whatever he didn't do in the past, all will be forgiven. All right, Don, the game is slowing down for the young guys, and we have to keep in mind 3 guys are super young. Yeah, I would agree with you, Don, that this overall in this team, I mean, think about it. How many guys are even 26 or 5? Probably not a ton of them. And I got to say, if you just look at the guys that predominantly make up the team, they all been drafted by Holmes. So they're all at max in their 3rd year. So they are growing. They are developing. I think we're all, out of all the draft picks, the only positions we're really not, as a fan base, happy with, it's got to be the pass rushers. Josh Pascal isn't doing anything. Onzarike, okay, I get his back, his shot. So, we could probably just let that one go. And whoever else from a pass rush specialist, I mean, Houston's on the sideline, so he can't do anything, but we haven't produced in that regard. The rest of the spots, I don't think there's a whole lot of room to complain about, but if you guys have a complaint, go ahead and let me know. Day, what do you got? Even if Monty might not bear any ill will towards the Bears, I still think he's going to want to tear them up Sunday. Yeah, I'd agree. Facing your former team that you feel, maybe should have kept you on. I don't know. Maybe he just wanted to be out of there. But I think whatever it may be, he's going to want to come in there and say, hey, remember me? This is why you should have tried to keep me. So just like when you see an ex, person that used to date that, just part of it, man. It's human psychology. All right, Willard, what do you got? There's not anyone in the Chicago Bears that scares me. Easy win. I hope you're right, man. Let me ask you, how easy of a win? Give me a score, man. Rob, Decker and Sewell have handled much tougher than Sweat this year. I would also agree with that. So I think that's a good point. Day, you heard it here. Dan said Bruce Irvin is going to take over TC duties from Aaron Glenn. Maybe he'll assist. Maybe he'll be a special assistant this week or the rest of the season. Willard, I want to see Noah versus Panay. Yeah, you're going to probably get it. All right. Rob, Bears and Lions at the top of the division will be a welcome change for a few years. Yeah, and there's some potential for that. The Bears, if they get a few things figured out, I mean, they do have some talent. They just don't have enough talent. And obviously, they need a quarterback who can stay healthy. That's why if I'm Justin Fields, I get on playing for my life, basically, these last 7-8 games. But he's also got to make sure he stays healthy for him, because if he starts getting a knack for being injury prone, that's not going to help his causes. So maybe that's why we don't see him run as much or try to take on any hits. So you might have something there. No one can't even break the starting lineup versus a team like the Panthers. Yeah, there's some truth. Dominic, good morning from Texas. What part of Texas? And good morning to you too. Is there a Buc-ee's near you? There's my question. All right, Day, what do you got? Listening to Amara and his bro talk trash is pretty entertaining. They had Jamari Gibbs on this week. There's no paid sponsorships for me. Just really like the 33rd team channel. There's nothing wrong with that, man. You like it, you like it. And like I said, I've checked it out sometimes, and they do have some decent content on there, so I've enjoyed it. Berg's Ford Field would be insane hosting an NFC championship game. My God, that would be loud. Yeah, it would be, especially the way the acoustics are in there. Yeah, I got to imagine whoever the other team is, it would be, especially if they're near one of the end zones, going one way or the other, it's going to be hard for them to use anything other than a silent count. All right, Smokey, some Mexican and American barbecue is the best. Okay, I'll go with that. I do like barbecue. Brent, hope we keep playing Dorsey and over Harris. I think we probably will. If I see Will Harris on DJ Moore, I'll be throwing my Nerf brick at the TV. Yeah, I think you might not be the only one. And hey, again, I've said before, Will Harris may be the greatest dude on planet Earth. He might be, the savior of the universe, but that doesn't mean he's good at covering anybody in the NFL. All right, Dave, we got one or two more, and then it's probably due 30 time here. Dave, my ex's Tata made a really hot salsa, but it tastes so good. I was well worth burning on both ends to eat it. Yeah, and as long as the spice has flavor, I love it. If you're just making it hot, like, oh gosh, there's one wing place around here. They're top level. You go up their charts, their top level stuff. Yeah, it's hot, but it just, I'll eat it, but there's just no flavor. So again, what's the point? All right, Bergs, I'm just saying Thanksgiving game. J-Mo is going to have the biggest game receiving wise. I really like him. Some players take longer to develop, but he's on his way. I would agree. All right, one last one here, and then it's time for me to roll. Willard, all right, 35-17 Lions. And then what the heck, just because we got one more. Dominic, I'm from Muskegon, Michigan, but I live in Fort Worth, Texas now. Team, good morning. Lions 14-3 to the Super Bowl and win it. So, all right, record 14-3. I was like, man, you're thinking we're going to win 14-3 against the Bears? Hey, Phil, man, where you been, man? I haven't seen you this morning. Greetings and salutations to you, too. All right, guys, I'm going to get rolling. It is birthday time for me, so I'm going to head on out. I hope you all have a great day. If there's some breaking news today, I'll, of course, get down to you. Might be a little delayed if I'm out to lunch with my mom or anything like that, but I hope you have a great one. If you haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing so, hitting that thumbs up button, all that jazz. We'll see you all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.